So you have a great business idea. You've been thinking about it for months, maybe even years. You know exactly what you want to build, you know your market, and you have the skills, but you haven't started yet. You're still preparing. You're still in your day job and you're still thinking about it. Most people say that their product isn't market ready yet, like they're waiting for the right timing. Maybe they think they aren't skilled enough yet or don't have the right connections or just some sort of reason why it hasn't happened yet. But what if I told you that there could be an invisible barrier that's keeping you from actually making progress? What if I told you that there was a specific pattern in your life that you didn't even know existed that's causing you to unknowingly self-sabotage your success that's holding you back? In the next few minutes, I'm going to break down the 7 patterns that are holding most people back from realizing their full potential. These patterns are keeping hundreds of thousands of entrepreneurs just stuck. The first step is to identify which pattern or patterns are in your life. And once they're identified, we can then see exactly how to break through them so that you can get out of your own head and finally see the success that you know that you're capable of. So if you've been ready to almost launch for more than a few months, this video right here is exactly what you need to hear. Let me ask you something. How many people do you know that have incredible ideas and love to talk about them, but have never actually launched anything? Probably a lot, right? Most people think that the problem's external. They blame the market, the timing, their luck, or lack of funding. But here's what I've discovered. The real blocker isn't external, it's internal. It's 7 specific patterns that make you feel like you're not ready, even when you actually are. And the crazy part, these patterns are sneaky. They disguise themselves as wisdom. They make you feel like you're being smart, like I'm being cautious, I'm being responsible, but they're actually just expensive habits that are keeping you stuck. And when I say expensive, I mean in the sense of time. What is the cost of inaction? Like the cost of not starting? If you had launched your idea or business 5 or 10 years ago, where would you be today? So how much have you given up financially, even by just not starting back when you should have started? So let's break down these 7 patterns and more importantly, let's see how to break through them. Okay, pattern 1 is perfectionism. The perfectionism paralysis. This is probably the number one thing that keeps people and entrepreneurs from launching. Here's how it works. You decide to start a business. You create a plan, but the plan has to be perfect. Your website has to be perfect, the branding has to be perfect, and your product, all of it has to just be perfect. You just keep refining and keep refining and keep planning and keep preparing. So 6 months later, you have all these files, but you haven't launched yet because perfect is a moving target. And here's the irony. Most successful entrepreneurs didn't launch perfect products. They launched good enough products to test the market and to learn from real customers. Stripe launched before their product was finished. Airbnb launched with just a few listings. Dropbox launched as a simple video. They didn't wait for perfect. They just started imperfectly and then refined as they went. Does that resonate with you? Are you stuck in the perfectionism paralysis? Maybe. And maybe some of these others might apply to you also. The second pattern is emotional reasoning. It's when you mistake your feelings for facts. You might feel anxious about launching, so you think, oh, I must not be ready yet. You feel doubtful, so you think, I'm not capable. You feel overwhelmed, so you say, it's too hard. But here's the thing. Feelings are temporary. They're influenced by sleep and stress, whether you've eaten. Your feelings are not fact. Yet, entrepreneurs are constantly using their emotions as data. I feel like this won't work, so I shouldn't try. Or I feel like I'm not experienced enough, so I should wait. But the problem is that just keeps you in a loop. And the more you delay, the more anxious you get. And the more anxious you get, the more you think you should wait. Are you feeling doubt or anxiety about a business decision? If so, pause and ask, is this a feeling based on actual facts or am I just nervous? Then make your decision based on facts, not feelings. The third pattern that could be holding you back is comparison. It's the compare and despair cycle. You see other entrepreneurs launching their businesses. You see their success. You're comparing their polished final product to your own really rough beginning. So then you reach a conclusion. Oh, they're so far ahead. I'll never catch up. Why bother? Because here's what you're not seeing. You're comparing their fully finished line to your starting line. You're seeing their success after the 3 years of work that they put in, but you're just thinking, oh, they're naturally better. But comparison doesn't just demoralize you, it misdirects you. You stop focusing on your own metrics and you start chasing their metrics. You build a business that fits their success, not yours. But here's the thing. The entrepreneurs who actually win are the ones who run their own race. They define success for their business, not someone else's. So look at your inputs. Who are you following? Whose success are you comparing yourself to? Get those people out of your head. If you need to unfollow certain people on social media, do that if it makes you feel behind. Follow the people who are maybe one step ahead of you on your specific path, not light years ahead of you. The fourth pattern is all or nothing thinking. You decide to build a business, but it has to be the full-time business. It has to be profitable immediately, or it counts as failure. So when things don't go perfectly on schedule, you just give up and abandon the whole thing. Well, I can't do this full time, so why bother with part-time? Or we didn't hit our revenue goal, so the whole thing is just a failure. And that binary thinking kills your momentum because life is messy. You have weeks where you can't focus. You'll have months where your growth is going to plateau, but that does not mean that business is dead. It just means you're in a learning phase. And the entrepreneurs who actually build sustainable businesses are the ones who embrace the gray area. They do 70% of effort consistently over 100% effort in bursts. Think about anyone in the fitness area. They will tell you that consistency is more important than perfection. If you try to be 100% all the time, you will burn out and you will give up. Be consistent, and that will pay off more in the long run than giving 100% in a little sprint burst of time. Are you trying to measure your success in an all or nothing kind of range? If so, try to reframe it into a spectrum. What would just 60% of success look like? What about 80%? Can you commit to the 60 to 80% range? Would that be more long-term sustainable for you? The fifth pattern is permission seeking. So you have an idea, but before you execute, you have to ask for permission. You ask your mentor, your friends, your family, online communities. One person might think it's great. Another thinks, oh, that's a bad idea. That's too risky. Another person says you should wait. And now you're just paralyzed and you're stuck because there's something inside you where you think you need everyone's approval first. You want everyone else to be your cheerleader. But here's the thing. If you wait for everyone else to agree and to cheer for you, you're going to be waiting forever because there's always going to be someone who thinks that you shouldn't do it. The entrepreneurs who move the fastest are the ones who trust their own judgment. They consult when it makes sense, but they don't outsource their decision making to other people's opinions. So next time you have an urge to ask for permission, ask yourself, do I genuinely need expertise here, or am I just looking for validation? If you're looking for validation, just make the decision alone and own it and move forward. The sixth pattern is called future tripping. That's when you spend all your mental energy on worst case scenarios instead of the present action. You imagine the launch failing. You imagine customers complaining. You imagine the business collapsing. You've mentally lived through every possible disaster. But here's what you haven't done. You haven't actually launched. Future tripping feels like you're preparing, but you're actually procrastinating. And it trains your nervous system to be anxious about the thing instead of being capable at the thing. The entrepreneurs who actually launch are the ones who spend way less time turning every scenario into a catastrophe in their head, and instead they spend more time making small actions. One step a day beats 100 catastrophes in your head. So when you catch yourself future tripping, just stop and ask, what's one small action I can take right now? Not a big action, just a small step. And do that instead of letting yourself mentally spiral. Pattern number 7. It's the not enough narrative. This is the master plan that feeds all the others. You believe you're not experienced enough. You're not talented enough. You're not confident enough. You're not educated enough, not connected. So you wait and you take another course and you read another book and you get another credential. Surely then you'll feel ready. But here's what I know. You will never feel ready because ready is not a feeling. Readiness is something you build by doing. Every successful entrepreneur started before they felt ready. They launched before they had all the answers. They took imperfect action before they understood the full picture. And through that action, they became ready. You're not waiting for readiness. Readiness is waiting for you on the other side of taking that first imperfect step. So if you're stuck in that, just set a launch date. Just pick a date, not when you feel ready, but now, this week, this month. Pick a date, commit to it, and commit to it publicly if that's what you needed. That external commitment will override the internal negotiations that you're having inside about readiness. Now, here's the important part. These patterns, they don't exist in isolation. They reinforce each other. Your perfectionism triggers this all or nothing thinking. If I can't do this perfectly, there's no point. And then your comparison triggers emotional reason. I feel inadequate, so I must not be capable. And then your permission seeking triggers this not enough narrative. They don't think I'm ready, so I'm probably not ready. And it just loops. And the longer you stay in it, the stronger it gets. But here's the good news. And this is the most important part of this video. If you can interrupt one pattern, it starts to weaken all the others. So launch imperfectly, interrupt that perfectionism, and then suddenly you don't need permission anymore. You have evidence. You know that. Take a small step and make a small action despite being afraid and interrupt the future tripping. And then all of a sudden your not enough narrative loses power. Stop comparing. So interrupt your comparison pattern, and then your emotional reasoning starts losing its grip. It all starts with recognizing the pattern, and once you see it, you can interrupt it. So what do? First, recognize which pattern is your dominant one, the one that shows up most inside of you. Is it perfectionism? Is it comparison? Permission seeking? Do you feel like you're not enough? Get specific. Write it down. When does it show up? What does it say to you? And then second, commit to just one small interruption. Don't try to break all 7 patterns at once. Pick one. If the dominant pattern is perfectionism, commit to launching something imperfect this week. If it's comparison, commit to unfollowing all those people who trigger your comparison. If it's permission seeking, commit to making one business decision without asking anyone for input. If it's not enough narrative, then commit to starting before you feel ready. One small interruption, that's it. And then third, practice that interruption consistently. Not perfectly, but consistently. Once a day, once every other day. You're rewiring your nervous system, and that takes repetition. And fourth, build a community. Find other entrepreneurs that are doing the same work, because you'll realize that these patterns are not unique to you. Everyone is dealing with them, but the people who've moved forward are the ones who are willing to interrupt those fears anyway. If any of this resonates with you and you want more information, there's a guide linked below. It explains each pattern in much more detail, breaks down all 7 of the patterns in great detail, how to recognize them, why they exist, and very specific strategies to interrupt each one. It walks you through real-world examples of entrepreneurs that were stuck in these, the psychology of why these patterns exist, specific interruption strategies for each one, case studies. The truth is, you probably have everything you need to launch your business right now. You're not blocked by talent, market conditions, or these external circumstances. You're blocked by patterns, invisible habits that make you feel stuck even when you're not. And the moment that you see those patterns clearly, everything changes. So if you're ready to break through, grab the guide below. Start with the pattern that feels most relevant to you. See what happens. Your potential isn't in the future when you're ready. It's available right now. You just have to be willing to access it. If any of this resonated, subscribe, turn on notifications, follow along. The goal here is to share knowledge, learn, and build better lives. We can learn and grow together. Thanks for watching. Now go launch.